Welcome to this lecture on one of the most fascinating and essential systems in the human body, the nervous system. Think of it as your body's personal internet. It's fast, complex, and occasionally glitchy. Without it, you wouldn't be able to move, think, feel, or even realize you're watching this video right now. In this session, we'll explore how neurons transmit impulses like high-speed messengers, how synapses act as the gates of communication, and how the nervous system is divided and specialized. We'll also dive into the world of neurotransmitters and receptors, the chemical messengers that keep everything running. And finally, we'll see some examples how the autonomic nervous system quietly controls your organs behind the scenes. Whether you're here to ace an exam or just curious what makes your brain tick, you're in the right place. So let's dive into the lecture. Before talking about the overall nervous system, we will start with the basics itself. That is, we will talk about neurons and impulse conduction. Firstly, we need to acquaint ourselves with the term excitable tissue. Now, excitable tissue are tissue that responds to stimuli with excitation, and of course, most typical example is neural tissue. Today in this lecture, we will talk only about neural tissue, but I want to point out that other excitable tissues exist, and those are muscle tissues, and with that I mean all kind of muscle tissue, like cardiac, skeletal, also smooth muscles. And another type of excitable tissues are secretory cells, so the ones which form secretory glands. But now about neurons. So firstly, if you want a definition what's a neuron, the most easiest one would be where you can tell that this is the basic unit of the nervous system. Other synonyms exist for the term neuron, and that could be neurocyte or just nerve cell. Now here I want to point out the word neurocyte and especially the ending of the word cyte, because anywhere in physiology, histology, or anatomy, whenever you encounter the word ending cyte, it means a cell, because basically all cells in our body have a special name with the ending cyte, like for example erythrocyte, red blood cell, leukocyte, white blood cell, hepatocyte, liver cell, myocyte, muscle cell, and so on and so forth. So whenever you encounter a word with ending cyte, you know it is something about a cell. Of course, the main function of a nerve cell is to conduct nerve impulses, and this is what we'll be talking partly in this lecture, how nerve impulses are exactly conducted and how does it function. Another thing that I want to stress out here is that if we talk about nervous tissue, not about nerve cells but nervous tissue, the tissue itself consists, yes, mainly of nerve cells, but also of very important cells that are called neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells do not transmit impulses, but they are still an essential part of the nervous tissue as they nourish and support the neurons. Here in the picture, for example, you can see the orange cell is a nerve cell, and here on this side you see a blood vessel. Now cells receive all the nutrients and oxygen they need via blood vessels, and this neuroglial cell which you see here is basically connecting the blood vessel to the neuron, taking up the nutrients from the blood vessels and transmitting them to the nerve cell. So a very, very important cell for the nervous system and nervous tissue, although it doesn't transmit nervous impulses itself. Now before we talk about how nervous impulses are transmitted exactly, let's look at the basic structure of a neuron. Now the neuron which you see here is how typically neurons look like in pictures or in books or other materials, but as we will find out later in this lecture, neurons can look also a little bit different. Now what they do all have in common is that a neuron definitely will have a cell body, a nucleus, and some kind of growths outside of the cell body. Now, one of these growths, let's call them like that for now, will be the main one through which the nerve impulse will be traveling to the next cell or any kind of tissue where the nerve impulse has to be, and this one we will call axon. The rest of the parts here growing out of the cell body will be called dendrites. Now, you may already notice that dendrites are shorter, and the one main which will transmit then the nervous impulse further, the axon, is longer, but that may not always be the case if the nerve cell looks a little bit different, and we will get back to that. Now, in this kind of nerve cell, the classical one, how it's always depicted in pictures, you can straight away tell which is the axon because it's the longest one of all the fibers here coming out of the cell body. But in some occasions, if you have just a picture and you have, let's say, two fibers coming out of the cell's body, both are equally long, and if you don't know which is the way the nerve impulse goes, you cannot tell which actually is the axon. So a nervous impulse will always travel from the dendrites to the cell body, then to the axon, and then to the next cell or organ. Another thing, if you look at the axon, and maybe how to recognize it also is a trick, is that sometimes axons do have myelin sheaths. Now, this is not true for all nerve cells. Some nerve cells do not have these myelin sheaths, but if they do, then the impulse that is conducted can travel faster through the axon. Later I will explain how exactly does this function. The myelin sheath is produced by a special cell called Schwann cell, which is in this case directly kind of very close to the axon itself. And also I want to point out here that you see the axon at the end is very branched out. That means that all these different endings basically can transmit the same nervous impulse to different cells, so to many cells. That means one nerve impulse that is transmitted through the axon can actually innervate many cells at the same time. And it's very, very common that these axons are indeed branched at the very end. Now, from a physiological point of view, one can divide the neuron in like three parts. First part is the receptive part. These will be dendrites which receive the information, so which receive the nerve impulse. Then you have the cell body, which is the so-called integrating part. This part of the cell will decide whether the nerve impulse received is actually strong enough, important enough to send further to the next cell via the axon. And as axon is the one sending the information further, this part we do call the transmitting part of the neuron. Another small thing that I want to mention here is also, I told you that neurons who have myelin sheaths do have these sheaths produced by special cells called Schwann cells, but that is actually the half-truth, because these cells are called Schwann cells only if the neuron is a part of the peripheral nervous system. If the neuron is part of the central nervous system, they still can have these myelin sheaths, but the cells producing them are called oligodendrocytes, because they are kind of completely different cells, but they have the same function, producing myelin sheath. And you see also the oligodendrocytes are kind of a little bit further apart from the axon of the nerve cell. Now, where you can find one and where you can find the other, the difference is, as I said, which part of the nervous system. We will get to the division of the nervous system a little bit further in this lecture, but I can tell you right away that central nervous system is basically the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is every neuron that's not part of the brain or spinal cord. Now remember, not all axons do have myelin sheaths. This will differ whether the impulse really needs to be transmitted super fast or just fast. If it's just fast, there is no myelin sheath on those neurons. Then, as we know, the part which has these myelin sheaths and which is transmitting the nerve impulse is called axon. But in physiology, we often do call this part of a neuron nerve fiber. So basically, a nerve fiber is the same axon together with the myelin sheath if the neuron has a myelin sheath. And depending on the direction of the impulse conduction. A nerve cell or nerve fibers can be afferent or efferent, and you can translate them like afferent is incoming, efferent is outgoing. And when we talk about the nervous system, the incoming outgoing part, we mean in connection with the central nervous system.